Welcome to Celtics Stuff Live on the CLNS Media Network, the leading online provider of audio and video coverage for the Boston Celtics, down 3-2 in the NBA Finals after stealing home court advantage in Game 1. How did we get here, John? How did we get here?
I don't want to be here, man. This sucks. I think that we've had. It kind of feels. I mean, for those who want to take the negative side of things, it feels like it's like they're proven right. It's like they wanted to see this in a way because, like, well, yep, see, missed your free throws. Yep, turn the ball over. This is what you get. And honestly, what a friggin' miserable way to go through life. I mean, is it true? Yeah. Is it paying the price for them? Absolutely. But they're also playing against a good team, and you got to give credit to the Golden State Warriors. I mean, hell, Andrew Wiggins was looking like Michael Jordan in Game 5. It's just everywhere. People want to talk about Steph Curry, only scoring 12 points. Well, if you think that Wiggins is going to do that again, wow, okay, sure. I'm not there. Look, we haven't seen the Celtics play 48 minutes of basketball against the Golden State Warriors yet. We know they have it in them. We know that they can do this. They need to put together the best 48 they have this series.
96.
If so,
96.
Well, no, that's not my point. I'm saying you got to get to Game 6. I'm not even thinking about Sunday. I'm not thinking about Game 7. I'm not thinking about anything other than you got to win Game 6. You win Game 6.
Yeah, but if you do 48, you got to do another 48 because it's Game 7. So it's 96 minutes. They got 96 minutes left in their season if they're lucky. Just think about this. 96 minutes left in the season if they're lucky. It needs to be and against a team like this in the NBA Finals. However you look at it, it's got to be the best 96 minutes that they've played this season.
The problem is they can't sustain quarter to quarter. Right. I can't think about Sunday. I can only think about this.
I don't know
quarter,
why not.
The next quarter, right? Like that's the thing with them. Like they are very much in the moment. Like they are like, okay, we're doing something great now, and the next moment it's gone. Right? Great third quarter, horrendous fourth quarter in Game 5. How do you? I'm sure we'll talk about Tony Brothers. I'm sure we'll talk about that 10-0 run that was keyed by 3 horrendous calls. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But stepping out away from that just for a sec, I mean, they need to play a good 12 minutes, a good 12 minutes, a good 12 minutes, and a good 12 minutes. And then we can talk about the next 48. Right.
Okay, fine.
And I think because right now
they're going to play their best 8-12-minute segments.
8's too many. I can't go there with you, man. I can't. I've seen too much.
You might as well, dude, because what's gonna be more frustrating. You might as well go there in your mind, because there's going to be nothing more frustrating than seeing a great 48 or great 4-12s, however you want to look at it, and then going in and seeing a stinker 3 out of 4, quarters in Game 7. It's going to hurt worse. I
don't think so. I don't think so.
I would rather win at home. I would rather be satisfied.
I'd rather lose in Game 7 because I didn't have enough than lose in Game 6 because I couldn't sustain a full game's worth of.
I just don't see it that way. The only reason is because the end result is the end result. I mean, no matter how you get there, it's a binary situation. You either win the championship or you don't. I get where you're coming from, and you've got some posterity in your evaluation, but for me, it's binary, and not in a overreaction, underreaction kind of way. It's just if you make it that far, you drag Robert Williams through the pain, everybody commits, and then you don't finish it. it's just as frustrating whether you don't finish it in 6 or you don't finish it in 7, and it definitely for the players. Here's a question I have more though than I get that, but the Tatum struggles, I see that, but the one thing they haven't gotten in this series that they got in the 2 prior series was an Al Horford explosion, and of all teams, for Al Horford to be able to play well against, why the hell isn't it happening here? Just
it did happen in game 1, right? Or game 1, game 3. They've all kind of run together. I think it was game 1 where he and White, right? They had their big night. Yeah. Where Horford had 26 points, 6 rebounds. White was 21 points, 3 assists. They had a great game 1, and then they've pretty much been not really much of a factor ever since.
It's rough, dude. They've created their own problems. The game 2 sham, I'll never forget that because I think it was a joke. The way whether they win or not, I still think they probably win that game. I think they were riding a high off of game 1. That was a sham. Game 5 had some annoying parts, like Gary Payton not getting fouled, falling down on his own, and getting called. And there were several moments like that. But they're all the kind of moments that the Celtics should be able to just keep playing through. They, like you said, they had a great third quarter. They should have carried that into the fourth. Even if the adjustments that Golden State made were making it difficult, they should have sustained that and been going down to the wire. And they really weren't going down to the wire. They basically lost that in the first 6 minutes of the fourth. And so that goes back on the Celtics. Game 2 is a sham because it's so egregious. It's so ridiculous what they let Draymond get away with. And look at, like, he's fouled out of 3 of the other games. He should have fouled out of 4 easy. 4 out of 5 games he should have been fouled out on. So for him to end game 2, the worst of his acts yet, with only 2 fouls, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And so, yeah, was I frustrated by game 5? Sure. But only not like game 2, and not insurmountable for the Celtics. And that's where I got to put it back on the side.
Yeah. So I think, and I don't want to completely disregard everything and the frustrations, because, there's frustrations. And like I said, that 10-0 run is,
devastating.
It was devastating, and it was gifted by the guys in the gray and black stripes.
And we talked about this. We talked about this. The last show was, when is Tony Brothers? Which game is he going to get?
So he's done. And he's not.
Yeah.
There's no way he's coming back for game 7 at this point. I can't believe. So, we're going to get Scott Foster at some point. It may be game 6, but if they did, I've got to believe they're bringing him back for game 7, because he's far and away they're seen as the best official in the league. I'm guessing they're holding him for 7. So
yeah,
what they do in game 6 could be rather interesting.
And he was game 3, right?
He was 3. Yeah.
So he'd do 6 or 7 anyway.
Right.
It makes sense.
Right. 6 and 7 works for me, because, as I said, the Celtics are undefeated with him officiating so far. But I think, I don't know if it's too soon, but I think we need to talk about, okay, how do we turn the page, right? Watching this game, like you said, it was annoying. Game 5 was annoying. It was, the Celtics came out flat-footed. Celtics came without any sort of emotion. Celtics came out feeling the hangover of game 4 and what that was of them being unable to score. And they couldn't do it. They got in a big hole. Somehow it wasn't as big of a hole as it should have been. But they started to fight back in the second quarter, really got some momentum going in the third quarter. And you're like, okay, now we're on to something. Then that happens, the start of the fourth quarter, and the floodgates were opened again. And that's like, how do they bottle that? Right. That, how do they bottle third quarter? How do you make
the league
plate out of the black
let me just say this though. The league wants us to go 7. I'm so confident that the Celtics will win game 6. Maybe that's the reason I say 96 minutes. I'm so confident because
I'm not.
I am, because the way that the officiating has, I mean, look, if the Celtics come out exhausted and just don't even try, sure, they could lose in 6, right?
Right.
But
they are. I mean, that's what they have to change, because
no, they're not gonna. No, listen, they're on their ass. There's no way. Like, they might run out of gas for game 7, like you said. There's no way they're gonna come out and put in a low effort game 6.
I don't know if I have that much confidence, honestly.
Oh, dude, come on.
Yeah, I'm serious.
They knew when Tony Brothers was the official and they were on the road, and even Jason Tatum was like, yeah, we're gonna fly out there again, and the old jet lag thing going on. Like, I'm just telling you, like, when they felt like, and that's the problem. They need to let the officiating go, because it then allows them to defeat themselves. And listen, everybody knows this is going 7. Everybody knows this is going 7. And the one thing I will say is I feel good about game 7, because whether it's Scott Foster or otherwise, game 7 won't be a one-sided officiated event. Like, the game, that's how they want it. Once they get to game 7, everything can be clean. Everything can be called correctly, because that all they want is a good, get them to 7. Whatever happens in 7, no biggies.
Right. But I think the issue isn't, you have to have a team that's kind of a peer, right? And for good stretches of that game in game 5, there was one team in charge and one team that was really a subservient role. And that's the thing that I look at, is that the subservient role that the Celtics are in, Golden State is dictating everything. That wasn't about officiating. That was really about
energy,
about how
effort,
confidence and effectiveness, and I think probably stamina. I mean, the fact that Jalen can't get by his guy, the fact that JT can't get by his guy, and they're being guarded by guys that they really should be able to, they need to get by. And mentally, they are not fluid. They are thinking. They are. They're not playing.
They're playing like they've got something to lose, instead of like they've got nothing to lose. Which is why, from here on out, they've got nothing to lose. They got nothing to lose. I'm telling you, dude.
Dude, I don't know.
You just
I don't know.
I know.
I don't know.
You're being a negative Nancy.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're definitely going to win, but you remember at the beginning of this series, I said, no way it Celtics in 6. They have to win this one on the road. It's going 7.
You did say that.
And it's predictable, because the NBA is predictable.
Right.
Because of things like
But for those who want to listen to the show, who probably don't necessarily want to go to the things that there might be something that isn't
tainted,
faded. Yes.
Tainted.
I mean, I don't even know why we do the show. Someone just tell us what the story is. I mean,
but listen, I'll tell you what, though. I get it.
What's the point? I mean,
the point is, you said that we as bloggers have a responsibility. You said this after game 2. Yes. We as bloggers, as people who don't have to worry about having press credentials pulled, we should not pull punches. We should call it like it is.
Right.
And it's not even just for the Celtics, dude.
No, I know.
These series, listen, statistically, I would love it if somebody just did a breakdown of statistics and said, is it really statistically feasible for most of these series to go 7 games every time? Come on. Come on.
No, I mean, look, there is a tie there. I agree with you that there is, like, you can't look at what they
They're in
did.
the business of making money,
Of
and
course
they're
they are.
really,
Of course they are.
really good at it. And
Of
the
course
most
they are.
important aspect of making money is getting into Game 7 without the fan base feeling like they've been conned.
Well, okay. Well, we're feeling conned, and I. Why do we do the rest of the show? Because it's all fait accompli. It's decided. So what's the point?
It's not decided. No, that's where you're wrong. It's not decided. It's only decided that it goes 7 games. In Game 7, that's when we see what it is.
I'm going to choose not to believe it's decided because I want to believe that if the Celtics win Game 6, that they are going to be able to use some momentum gained from winning Game 6.
I think for sure.
To help them, right?
I agree with that 100%.
If it's given to them for the sake of giving it to them, can you possibly feel as good about that? Can you possibly enter, going back to San Francisco to be like, I feel great.
Hold on.
This victory.
Let's back up. Up until this last game, Game 5, when you said like there was one team that was dominant and the other one was subservient, right? At the beginning of this series, you and I both said that we felt that the Celtics were far and away the superior team. Okay? So listen, how about you stop looking at it like Game 6 gets given to the Celtics and start looking at it like Game 2 and Game 4, not so much Game 4, but some of these games were taken from them. The way that and this happened in the last 2 series. All you got to do is allow the other team to clutch and grab on the perimeter, not call it, and then call it against the Celtics. Right?
You feel like the Celtics have been as big a beneficiaries or has it been as detrimental in this series? I don't. I mean, I think there have been horrendous calls. There have been things that have tilted games.
Not like the last 2 series, but
the last 2 series were egregious when that happened. Right.
But game 2,
outrageous.
Game 2 is a game where you absolutely can't allow the Celtics to win that. Because then the con job is obvious if it makes it to 7. You can't win the first 2 games on the road and then head home and not have it be obvious, right? Like, and you can't have this series not go 7. And so Game 2, the friggin' was on the riggin'. That's all there is to it. And that, and I want you to kind of let this get into your mind a little bit. They know it. I told you, I said, what do you think is going on in the Celtics front office today? How are they going back to the NBA and saying, what the F is this? Right? Because it's obvious. I mean, there's parodies out there all over, like, did you see the one on Celtics Life about Rasheed Wallace wanting, all of his money back for the many fouls that got called on him that he got fined for, and he's citing the Draymond rule. It's hilarious. It's like the Onion for basketball. I died. But that's like, that gets, if you don't, like, the players are like, obviously it's in their head that the officials are swaying and then they're not giving them fair treatment and they're frustrated by it. Is it not justified after Game 2 for that to get in their heads? And could it not creep up on them that, oh, here we go again? If they don't believe that they have a real shot in win, because it's also, I get it, as a fan base, you don't want to believe that. But imagine if you're a player and you're actually playing in the games like a Game 2 that we watched, and you stop believing in the fairness of the game because of the outcome being influenced like that. I mean, they punched Golden State in the mouth. Jason Tatum had a horrible game in Game 1, and they came out in Game 2, and they were basically allowed to be raped by Draymond Green, assaulted and battered. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Right.
I'm not saying it's okay for the Celtics to respond the way that they are. Yeah. I'm just saying you've got to give them a little rope. And now it won't matter. They're having a conversation now to go out in game 6 and leave it all on the line, because it won't matter. If the officials do it to them, they do it to them. It is what it is. This is why I've always been upset with the Celtics for not forcing the issue when the officiating is that bad. They should force the issue. It's disgusting that they don't, because they know it and I know it and you know it. Watching the game, you know what's going on. You know what's happening. So force the issue. I think they're going to play pretty well. I think they're still going to have problems. They always do, playing two best teams against each other. Celtics are young, don't have the experience. I think you're going to be surprised. Game 6, they come out and go off, and then who knows? No telling what happens in Game 7. That's how I feel about it. They're not going to lose at home to the Golden State Warriors in Game 6, John. It's just not how this works.
I don't know. I don't know that I don't believe that. The Celtics that came out in Game 5, that response to how they got handled at the end of Game 4 does not inspire confidence.
Yeah, I get it.
I've been very positive about this team. I've been very positive about, from the moment that they turned it around in January. Like, I've been really positive that they've figured something out here. And a lot of this is going back to what caused them before, but it's also they're playing against a lot tougher competition. I mean, this isn't like they're playing, Detroit on a random Wednesday in February. They're playing the Golden State Warriors in the finals, and Steve Kerr's throwing everything in the kitchen sink at them, and it's not going well, right? So, but they're reverting back to their basis routines of hold it. They're not executing. They try to get a switch. Wiggins fights through the screen, and so it's just wasting 5 seconds off the shot clock every time. I mean, these things, those inabilities to move off ball, they're doing themselves.
No, they didn't play well. I agree. I agree.
And that had to happen in Game 5. That had to happen to start Game 5. They had to set the tone in Game 5 from the jump, and they didn't. They sleptwalked through it. Horford was a non-factor. Smart was throwing the ball around. Tatum and Brown just was nowhere to be seen.
I agree.
He was awful. Tatum was really the only thing they had going until Smart settled things down a little bit in the third quarter and second quarter. And then, of course, the wheels fell off in the fourth again. But it feels like who they are has just escaped them. It just feels like after Game 4,
every time it just swings the other way. Like, the minute you get low, like, just wait. I wish we could do it. We can't, because I'm going on vacation with the kids tomorrow. I wish we could do a show after Game 6 as we head into Game 7, and you could hear yourself right now, and then we play after Game 6 for you, and you hear both of them, and you're like, oh my God, like the highs and lows with this team. Here we go again.
I'm just trying to think, like, what could happen in Game 6 that would make me feel like I did before Game 4. I'm trying to think, like, how could the Celtics play in such a way that would make me say, oh, okay, they got a chance to go into Golden State win. That's where
I'll tell you. Rob Williams at the rim on offense. Defensively, because here's a real bitch about Game 5. They squandered a terrible performance by Steph Curry who had just gone off in the previous game,
Mhm.
and everybody's like, Jordan, Jordan, Jordan. Right?
The
And
only
then he
Jordan
comes
out
off of
there
that.
was Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
He looked
But
like
that's what they said. But that's what they said about game 4. After Steph did game 4, everybody's like, he's Jordan. You know, all the comparisons. Like, and then an absolute stink bomb in game 5 from Steph Curry. An absolute stink bomb. That's what they squandered. That's the part that's frustrating. So you get to game 6. I get it. Wiggins picked up the slack, and, you know, Clay shook his head running down the floor. Yeah, gotcha, punks. Like, whatever. The thing is, they squandered that with Steph. But if you look at the series, their best chance to win is when Steph goes off and everybody else is shut down. So, you know, I think you'd feel a lot better about the Celtics' chances if in game 6 Steph Curry goes off and the Celtics still win by 10. And they play that kind of defense on everybody else. Wiggins is quieted down again, and then Rob Williams, you know, shows some life.
I'll tell you, I think Rob's part of it. I think that to see 2 out of Horford, Smart, and Derek White, if 2 out of those guys can have more than 15 points.
Or Peyton Pritchard, who got his shot in game 5 and came out and didn't knock him down. But he knocks down 2 of those first threes that he shot. Totally different feeling in the first half.
Grant.
They just couldn't.
Grant has kind of, I mean, I don't think there's been a lot of like chatter, you know, later on in this series about, well, you know, Brian Robb wrote something today in Boston Sport, on Mass Live, like, well, the bench isn't stepping up, and sure, but they took like a total of 9 shots. You know, they had like 4 points combined or something like that. Like, I can't say that they're getting opportunities. I can't say that the ball's moving to find an open shooter. Pritchard, his shots were good shots, and, you know, should have hit them, absolutely. But like, how many opportunities? Pritchard didn't play in the second half, I don't think. So it was really that kind of start of the second quarter. And that is actually kind of when Boston started turning it around. So they were finding the open shooters. And like, to me, like, I think it's a style of play thing. I think it's totally about, that's what's frustrated me. Like, there are times when Jalen takes over and hits shots, and it's great because it digs him out of a hole sometimes. But like, honestly, the only way they're going to beat the Golden State Warriors is by passing the ball and moving. That's the only way they're going to beat them.
That was the frustrating part about. That was the frustrating thing about Game 4. No ball movement. No ball movement.
You don't have it. They're not going to win.
Brutal.
It's over. You know.
Yeah. And I shouldn't just say ball movement. It's off ball movement too. Like, when nobody's moving, they're screwed. Nobody's moving, screwed.
The amount of stand and watch while someone else goes and does something, drives to the rim.
Reminds me of the Paul Pierce prior to the Kevin Garnett trade years.
You've got to have guys moving. Like, they're going to wait at the rim for you. They're going to have guys, you know, stunting and trying to like make you think they're guarding 2 people. But if that other guy is moving and creating a new look for himself, there's a passing angle there. And they just have not done a good job of that.
It's one of the frustrating things when Derek White starts to drive to the hole and nobody moves.
Yeah.
Then he gets stuck in the double and he doesn't know what to do.
Right.
Because nobody gave him any options.
Right.
He wants to pass out of it. He doesn't always want to go to the rim. And you're right. You can't expect the guys to go 1 on 2 or 3 with a collapsing defense and nobody else, you know, like, oh, there's the open man.
Right. I'm not ready to talk about what does this team need to do for next season. We got a summer to talk about that.
No way, dude. No way. This is going 7.
But whatever. But that's something they got to figure out like tomorrow, right? Like, that's something they got to figure out and do it for 48 minutes on Thursday night in Game 6. And hopefully they do that enough They
Hey,
can
can
go
you
from
look up the
0 to
odds? How much money am I going to make if I put like $100 down on this game?
80.
You have any idea what the Vegas odds are?
Well, let's go to betonline.ag.
Bang.
Let's find out. The odds are, and it probably should have, when we did that, when you did the deal,
Yeah.
I should have written down when the ad was on, but that's all right. We're good. We're good here. Let's see. So sports, basketball. It's just so easy. Oh my gosh, look how easy this is to kind of bring up. All right. So the series prices minus 350 for the Warriors. So you got to put down 350 to win $100
on the Warriors.
On the Warriors, yeah.
But I could put down $100 and win 350 on the Celtics. I know it's not always.
No. So
inverse. So what's the Celtics?
Are you talking about game 6 odds? Or are you talking about game series odds?
I'd like to hear both, but I was talking about game 6 odds. I'm very confident.
Game 6 odds right now, the Celtics are minus 160 on the money. Oh no, sorry, the total. Yeah, let's see, 3.5 the spread. So they're minus 115. Wait, hold on.
Oh, so if I put down 100, I make $15.
Yeah, it's pretty even. I mean, relatively, for what it is. I just. So yeah, is it worth it really? No, I don't think it's something worth putting the cash down on. But
how about the series?
The series, yeah. So the Warriors are minus 350. So put it down on the Celtics. If you put down 100, we win 280 right now. So you could quadruple your money. Well, triple your money. Quadruple, yeah. He's thinking about it. He's like,
yeah, I am.
Gee,
I am.
$100, make it $400, really.
Dude, the drama, dude. Just think about this, the whole drama thing, and again, think about just the Celtics fan base. You know how? I mean, the ratings must be. You got any idea what the ratings are for this finals with us nutbag of a fan base we are? And actually, I gotta say, I'm impressed with the Golden State's loud. Like, that is a fan base that cares. I am impressed by that. Yeah. Sometimes it's as loud there as it seems to be in the Garden.
Yeah, I mean, not as classy as we are, but no, I think that they, I mean, they're a good team, right? They're a good team. They have fought hard. The thing that's frustrating to me is that I don't know we've given them our best shot. That's the thing that really drives me crazy about this series is I just don't feel like we've really ever had a chance to really give them.
Jason Tatum learns to be a closer. The Celtics on the brink of destruction come back down in the series 3-2, just as they've done all postseason long. They win one on the road to take home banner 18. Like, dude, just think of they defeat the Warriors with all of that playoff experience and da. Dude, I'm telling you, this is
for a narrative
it's the
reason,
story that everybody wants.
Right, but when you see what's going on the court, that doesn't really seem like as tangible.
What's going on the court is what the Celtics have done all year long. They're bipolar or they've a mixed personality or whatever it is. But like, just when you think they're dead and gone and don't know what they are, and then all of a sudden they bounce back, and I don't know what it is.
I mean, that's like, well, they've always done it, so they're going to do it. Like, that's not. There's nothing logical about that. That's completely like emotional response. And there's nothing that's like, oh.
How about you and I bet $100 on Game 6?
Go for it.
Never mind. You don't want to bet that. You don't want to bet on them losing.
I don't bet.
You don't want to bet.
I don't. Yeah. All due respect to our sponsors, but it's.
I'm telling you, dude.
There's too much emotion in it.
Game 6 is a lock.
Yeah.
It's a lock.
Well, I feel good about it on the basis, I mean, compared to you, I don't know what the hell I am, but I think, look, after game 5 in 2010, I felt really friggin' good. I thought, you got to win 1 out of 2 in LA. We can do this. We got this thing licked. And then we lost 2 in a row. And, game 7 was a complete cluster.
Yep.
I mean,
everybody
really
got overconfident, and then bump.
Well, but Perk gets hurt.
Momentum shift. Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of things that really worked against them. But there was a confidence, I thought, that after Rondo really kind of played so well in game 5 that, all right, just got to win 1 or 2. Couldn't do it. And, that's where the Warriors are right now. The Warriors are in place. Been there, done that. We've won this. We're good. And you got to earn it. I guess that's my point. Is like in a game 6, you got to earn it. The Celtics have to prove that they deserve to go to a game 7. They haven't played well enough of late to prove they should be able to win a game 6. They can.
All right. So let me ask you something. Celtics win game 6 by 25.
Yeah.
How do you feel going into game 7? Better?
Mixed. 50-50.
Yeah, of course. So let me ask you this.
You should feel like 80-20. Try a blowout like that. It's mixed.
No, I think game 7 is a crapshoot. I just am so positive it's going 7. Yeah. It's Sunday. It's going 7. And so, what happens in game 7, I don't know. So let's Celtics win by 3 in a hard fought battle, but they don't ever just drop a deuce on a quarter. They kind of, lots of areas for improvement. Turnover still a little bit of an issue. Steph Curry goes off. They win by 2 points. How do you feel going into game 7?
I think I'd feel probably about the same.
You'd feel the same as if they won by 25 in game 6?
No. I think I'd feel like, okay, well, all this gets us back to 3-3, and now who knows who's going to show up.
Celtics win by 25 in game 6. I do not feel good about game 7. Celtics win a close, hard-fought battle, couple of point win, tough one right down to the wire in game 6. I feel a hell of a lot better about the Celtics in game 7.
Yeah.
Got to keep that scrappy. You're talking about it. They don't stay scrappy. What I need to see is a scrappy game 6 win that holds their attention on being scrappy in game 7. A big win on 25, even if they were scrappy to start, big 25-point win in game 6 has them not coming out with quite the right mentality for game 7. Not quite strong enough. That's what I think. We got to wrap this show up. What else is there one other thing you want to kick before we go?
I'd love to get on I'd love to get on the officials or get on the commentating crew. That's always one of my favorite things to hate. But I'm so in on what's going to happen on Thursday. That's really where I'm at. Like the overconfidence that I'm hoping Golden State is coming in with is what I hope Boston can punish them with. And I think that's possible. I think that they feel like they've figured some things out defensively for Boston. Again, the Boston can't. And I've felt all along that Boston can. They just haven't seemed to figure out how to unlock themselves. But if Tatum and Brown truly buy into using everybody to beat the hell out of the Golden State Warriors the same way they did in game 1, and they've made changes in game 1 defensively, but if they can use everybody, and that's the focus, rather than try to hunt the mismatch and I'm going to play mismatch and then I'm going to beat you by beating that mismatch. I think if they get away from that and they just go to just playing, move it and run their plays and go through that, I think they'll play fine, and I think maybe that gets them something, figured out. The other thing is the 2 days off in between. There's some things you can figure out, but I just feel like Boston has more that they can fix. And that seems somewhat counterfactual, but like, I feel like even though we're this far into the series and it's like they've kind of countered, I feel like Boston has more room to fix what ails them than Golden State does.
They've been able to fight close for the most part, and you're right, they have the most opportunity to improve.
Right.
Golden State's kind of executing their plan,
right,
and the Celtics are sporadic, and that's another reason.
Boston's not executing their offense.
That's kind of you making my point about why now that they're on their ass, that I think it's a good thing. I think they need to be on their ass. All right, I'm hitting it. We're going to do likely a Father's Day show.
One way or the other.
One way or the other, the season's over. So we'll be wrapping it up. We'll be looking a little bit to the off season at that point.
I hope we're drinking champagne, man.
I do too, man. They played with house money this season, but I'm not ready to accept a good loss.
And that's really the key thing we got to keep in mind through all this. If 6 months ago or 5 months ago, you and I were sitting here,
we didn't even think they were going to make the postseason
in this place.
We didn't even think they made the postseason. They might have lost a play-in game.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's growth, there's potential. You've got to play like you did for much of this playoff run, not the way you have of late. But if you do,
Game 6.
Do what got you here, you can be NBA champions on Sunday night.
Mark my words. Game 6 is going to the Celtics. We'll be back Sunday night after Game 7 to recap it all. That's going to do it for this week's show. But as a reminder, you can follow Celtic Stuff Live on Twitter at CSL_tweet live. Follow John at CSL_Duke. You can follow me at CSL_Justin. Heartfelt thank you to everybody for tuning in as always. And on behalf of the founder of CLNS Media, Nick Gelso, my co-host John Duke, I'm Justin Poulin. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Celtic Stuff Live.